Hey there! Today we're going to talk about selling to chefs. It's Friday, it's my delivery day. I'm just going to sort of take you guys along, talk to you about selling to chefs, things to think about, some tips, and I'll see if I can grab a chef or two and see if they'll talk in front of the camera a little bit and talk about a little bit about being on the other side of it too, so I can share that with you. So I'm packing things up right now. We'll get the car all sorted, and just one thing, even now as a tip, just stay organized. It's easy when you're trying to gather things in the morning and you have different accounts you're going to and different orders and stuff like that, so make sure you're on top of things and you're staying organized. So one thing that's important to have are large coolers to transport your produce in. Now, you do all this work to grow this awesome food and you keep it nice and fresh and cold. Make sure you transport it to your chefs cold. So I have these big coolers and I put ice packs in the bottom, and a pro tip there is make sure you put a towel on top of the ice packs or whatever you're using to keep it cold, because if you put the bags of greens or whatever right on top of the ice packs, it'll sort of freeze them and mess them up. So yeah, make sure you're keeping them cold when you're transporting them. Even though maybe a short ride in your car, you want it to arrive in pristine condition. And so I harvest everything the day before, and it gets nice and chilled overnight in the refrigerator. So keeping it cold in the cooler is pretty easy. Got the car all loaded up, ready to go. Let's go make those deliveries. So let's hit the road, but there's probably an overarching theme that I want to keep hitting on during the day-to-day is it's all about relationships with the chefs. So I'm here at Fullsteam Brewery in Durham, one of my accounts, and let's go find the chef and, you know, talk to him for a little bit. Hey, Derek. Hey, buddy. You got a minute? Of course. All right. So I'm here with Derek, the head chef at Fullsteam Brewery. Derek and I have been working together for, I don't know, well, we worked in a different restaurant, but working together now for, I don't know, a couple months here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beginning of May.
Beginning of May, all right, cool. So a little while now. And just gonna ask Derek a couple questions and see if he can give some insight into talking about selling vegetables to chefs. So Derek, can you tell me a little bit about, you know, if I'm a farmer looking to sell to a local restaurant, what are some of the things as a chef that you're looking for when you're trying to make connections with farmers, and the sort of things that help you?
Well, I think uniqueness of product is a big one. I mean, like with you, your pea shoots, sunflower shoots, radish shoots, and all that are inspiring. You know, so we have like what 3 dishes on our menu that use sprouts and lettuce and greens. I think being able to communicate well with the farmer and you know, like you said, meshing with personalities goes a long way. Consistency definitely, because you know you're dealing with farms and obviously crops and all that change from time to time over the seasons. You know, that's a big one also. I think the biggest aspect is not being pushy. You know, it's one of those things with chefs. If you stop by and drop a sample and say, hey, I'm from so and so, or from such and such farm, you know, this is what I do, this is what I have, blah blah blah. You know, drop a pseudo product list, maybe some samples, and you know, we have to make spur of the moment decisions. You know, with what we're doing. So if we want to use something like that, chances are we've already decided whether we are or not. You know, so I think the one thing I don't like are people being pushy about it.
But it's good to follow up if we don't hear from you guys?
It's good to follow up, but not...
Don't be annoying about it.
Not 2 days later, you know? Okay. Like, having to use, you know, seasonal product and all that, like, we're constantly researching, finding what's coming up next, you know, what's out there.
Brings a lot of extra challenges to you as you manage your restaurant.
Yeah, on top of managing the kitchen,
Yeah. How does the farming method play into that? Do you care about how things are grown, or, you know, is that something that you consider?
From time to time, yes. I tend to try to learn what the farmer is doing and how they're doing it. My knowledge base on farming practices isn't extensive at all, so it's more of a learning process and being able to be sold by the farmer that, you know, this is what people are looking for.
Okay, cool. So as a farmer, I could be helping educate some of the chefs as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, and you've done a wonderful job with me on that.
Thanks, Derek.
Anytime.
All right, so all right, I want to ask you about sort of the local food scene in Durham. We're in Durham right now, but sort of in the triangle, Durham, Raleigh, and Chapel Hill. And I know you've been a chef in the area for a little while, and you know, what have you seen changing? Is it becoming more prevalent? Are customers expecting it, looking for it? Are more of the restaurants sort of expecting that from their chefs to be using more local ingredients? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Not to say that it's becoming a trend, because it's been a thing, like buying local. Here, Fullsteam was my first like real true experience with, you know, having to buy as much local product and incorporate it in the menu as possible. I think yes, at this point in time, like people do expect a lot more seasonality, local purchases, you know, names that they recognize, names that they may not, and just, you know, good food made from that.
Hey, so thank you so much for everything so far. I'm really happy working with you guys, and happy to be, you know, together on this and trying to bring more local food into your menu and you know, get some good products out to your customers. And thanks so much for taking a few minutes today just to chat. And we'll see you later. So a big thanks to Derek. He's just an awesome dude, and I love working with him and just doing great things over at Fullsteam. So if you guys are ever in the Durham area, or maybe you haven't been to Fullsteam Brewery in a while, go check them out. Derek's been doing a ton of work on their menu, just really making awesome dishes with a lot of local ingredients. So stop by, have their great beer, and definitely check out some of their food. Hey, so I'm outside of White Hill right now, another one of my customers, and I'm gonna go inside and see if I can grab Chef Kyle and talk to us for a little bit and share some of his insights about local food and what he can recommend to people looking to sell to chefs. Hey buddy.
Oh hey!
Hey, you got a minute?
I think I do.
All right, awesome.
Step out for a minute?
Yeah, totally.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm here with Kevin and Kyle. Wait, did you guys plan that?
No.
No, okay. No. We're here at White Hill, and we're just gonna ask them some questions and give them you guys some pointers about, you know, selling to chefs and some of the local food scene here.
Awesome, yeah. So we love dealing with Satin Hill Farms. We like dealing with a lot of local purveyors. It provides us a lot of seasonality and commitment to growing practices that we like to support while still allowing us as a restaurant to hit the costs and what we need to be doing.
And I mean, it's just better, like all around. I mean, getting to know all the farmers firsthand, getting to see the product when it's just now growing and when it's near the end of the season and everything in between. It just gives you a much better idea of where you want to go with our ideas and with how you want to treat your restaurant and anything else, pop-ups or whatever.
Okay, so one of the main things you guys would say about sourcing local food is just about the quality?
The quality, the accessibility. There's such a wide range of products that we're able to get from farmers that you don't see big aggregates doing. You get a lot more uniqueness and specialty items. Josh brought us this green sorrel. It's one of my favorite things to work with now. We actually conceptualize dishes solely around that one product that he brought us. So while it's really cool to get that, also being able to sustain and produce enough for a restaurant scale is really important. And everyone that we've worked with has done a great job of that. If they weren't already at that production level, they knew how to tell us what that timeline was and what that was going to be looking like.
Yeah, which makes it convenient, not only for planning, but I mean, it's convenient that you guys come here to us and bring us samples before, without us even asking a lot of the times. It'll be, hey, I see what you guys are doing. I think that you guys would like this, and you're bringing it to me, and you're kind of taking the guesswork out of it. I already know it's going to be a great product, and if you vouch for it and you have already, you know, seen it used like this or have wanted it used like that, that just makes it easier for me. I just got to make it happen.
Cool.
And it's
so
awesome.
What do you guys recommend for farmers that are looking to start selling to chefs? I mean, some pointers on how they can approach chefs, things like that?
I think with the age and time of social media, it's really easy to reach out to a lot of us. Shooting us a message or something to let us know that you're coming in is really big, because a lot of our days are very busy. We try to make as much time as possible, but trying to plan those things out is really important. And then shooting for those, like, you know, non-typical peak hours, coming in, you know, between that, like, kind of like 11 to 2 range. If you want to bring samples by, if you want us to have a chance to be able to sit and talk for a minute, that's usually your optimal time frame for most people.
Never come in at 5 o'clock for dinner service.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't think about that.
number
It's kind of obvious,
Yeah,
but yeah.
you're gonna get turned away, and then it'll just be, it's
Not a good start to that relationship,
No.
right?
Yeah.
like, oh, that's the guy that showed up right when service is starting, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have time to talk to you right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what can you guys talk about a little bit? Can you guys talk a little bit about the local food scene here in the Raleigh-Durham area? Things of maybe how it's changed over the last couple of years. Like, are people really interested in local food? Is it's something that your customers are asking for? Something
Yeah,
that they?
I think the triangle has become almost like a food mecca. We know many people that have moved here just for the restaurant scene and to be in the industry here. We go to the farmers market 3 or 4 times a week, and the number of local chefs that we run into is just off the wall.
Yeah.
We can't go there without running into someone that we know at this point. So it really goes to show how committed Raleigh is, and Durham and all these triangle areas, to locality. People are going to the Wake Forest Farmers Market, the State Farmers Market, you know, Midtown up at North Hills. People are going to these. It's not just, you know, your average consumer. It is chefs, because we are trying to find the best product and, you know, the best relationships to build.
And I think that's in high demand. I think people just, once the lid got blown off a couple years ago about how good the product really is from the farmers market and how competitive those prices are compared to going to Food Lion or Harris Teeter or what may be. I mean, people are just, you know, they could tell the difference when they go to your restaurant to go eat that food, and they could tell that you're using a North Carolina product that was grown probably less than 100 miles away from here, and then brought to you that morning, picked by us, cut by us, and prepared by us for you guys. And I think people crave that, want that, and now that it's here, you know, I think if you're not doing that as a restaurant owner and as chefs, you're kind of missing out on the abundance of opportunities there are to be messing around with farmers and products just locally here.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have people come and just throw an idea at us. Be like, hey, I have this one thing. You guys think you can use this at all? It's like, I don't know yet, but yeah, let's figure something out.
Yeah.
It gives us, you know.
Like, I can't grow enough of this for you, but I can substitute it. I can make you a blend of this. Well, I didn't, maybe let's try it out. And it turns out it's better. Or, you know, maybe I can't use it for that, but I just got another idea for a dish for fall time. Can you grow this? You know, it's an outlet and inlet kind of situation.
So it sounds like a lot of the local food being available to you guys and sort of seasonal and availability, that sort of changes the way you make up dishes, and you really take advantage of that and use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Is that challenging for you?
I mean, it definitely is. I mean, part of at least why I, and I'm sure Kevin, got into this industry is we don't like doing the same thing every day. I couldn't imagine waking up and doing the same job day in and day out. So being able to go, all right, well, we're gonna have tomatoes for 3 more weeks. It's like, all right, let's, you know, run it for then. It's like, all right, now what's coming up? And we're in this process now of talking to farmers on, all right, as we move into September and kind of late September, October period, what's the new crops that are coming in, what are you guys going to be providing in bulk, so that we can start conceptualizing our dishes and menus around that now.
And I think, like, I mean, the situation we had yesterday, we're at the farmer's market, we're out picking the tomatoes, and we just look at each other, we're like, I think tomato season's coming a lot closer to an end than we were anticipating.
Yep.
So I mean, we wouldn't know that if we were just getting boxes of this stuff shipped in without ever talking to anybody. We're there, seeing it, and again, now we're able to ask whoever, maybe you, Ronnie, anybody at the farmer's market, hey, how long are you gonna have this? What is the quantity that you can have this? Should I start scaling back? Well, no, it gives us options. Like maybe we don't have to take everything off that has tomatoes, but maybe we'll do something, take half of things off, make it last, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So something that could be really important for farmers looking to start relationships with chefs is, I feel like, and I always say this, but communication's super important, right? Being very upfront about what you have, what you don't have, that sort of thing. Is that relationship and that part of it, you know, what makes working with a farmer so good?
It's a lot of what makes it, it makes it easier to work with them and to be able to push that towards an owner's side of things, because you can show them that you're going to have the same reliability that you would have ordering from any of the large aggregates or food suppliers. It gives that sense of security and knowing that when I ask for a product, it's going to be there.
It gives us time to plan as well. You know, a lot of times if you are using a big vendor, say, like, whatever it may be, you don't find out until you go to put in that order at 4 o'clock that you're not going to have tomatoes for the next day.
Yeah.
Whereas if we're working with Satin Hills Farm or whatever, I probably already know, maybe even a couple of days, if not even sooner, than, hey, I'm not going to have this available for you guys. This happened, I might be able to get this, blah, blah, and it allows us to plan for the coming week and what we need to do and how we need to make adjustments to really make you know, our week successful.
I think one of the biggest things from a farmer's side of things that I've realized talking with a lot of people is go out there and talk to chefs. We all want to network and get to know people and build those relationships.
Go out to farms, we want to visit, we want to, you know, we want to see where you guys work just as much as you guys want to see where we work.
Yeah, so. Don't be discouraged if there's a chef, like even ourselves, that's not able to work with somebody at a certain given time. It could be the price point, your production hasn't risen to the level where the price point can drop enough, or we might not be looking for something at that time, but always reach back out. Josh and I had messaged for a year and a half, 2 years before we finally connected on doing what we are here at Y Hill. So that perseverance and that, you know, that willingness to keep trying is really important.
Well, thanks for taking the time today, guys. And what's going on here? You guys got huge tweezers?
Dude, you know, a lot of fire, a lot of flames. Tweezer life.
Tongs aren't good enough?
No.
Not need tweezers?
Precision.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be back in a couple weeks. We're gonna do we're gonna do a cooking lesson, maybe?
Yeah, I think we're talking about doing something in, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah. So we'll have that out for you guys. We're gonna do some more in-depth stuff with Kyle here, and yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you guys thinking about starting to sell to some restaurants.
No, we're excited.
All right, thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, back from doing deliveries and talking with chefs, and hope you guys enjoyed that. And I will leave a link down below to those 2 restaurants and the Instagram accounts for all those chefs. So if you want to check them out, I'll post those links down below. Anyways, I just want to recap a couple of things I was talking about. Make sure that when you, or what these guys are talking about, make sure that when you're reaching out to chefs, and if you do want to drop in and bring some samples, that is a great thing to do. Just please use your common sense. Don't go during dinner rush. You know, late morning or mid-afternoon is usually best. You know, don't hit them up when they're cooking, when there's service going on, that sort of thing. But yeah, I recommend, if you can, do some networking and try to connect with chefs before you just walk in cold. If you can set up a meeting ahead of time, that's great. Then they'll set aside time, and they're usually pretty happy to meet with chefs. And you know, just bring up a box of stuff, like whatever you have. Bring them a price sheet and tell them what you're up to, and ask them what they're looking for, and you know, see if you can help them out. Sometimes they'll just be like, yeah, I'm really looking for this, I can't get that, or whatever. So you know, be open-minded about that. Moving forwards, like once you start working with a chef, you know, really good communication is important, I think, with everything in life, especially with working with chefs. Chefs in general aren't always the best about getting back to you, but they do eventually, and sometimes they just forget because they're busy. So it's okay to hit them up, you know, more than once. Just don't be annoying about it. And you know, the other thing is, don't overcommit and underdeliver. That's a huge thing that can happen. And so be realistic about what you have, what you can actually sell to them. And if you think you're gonna come up short, like let them know as soon as possible. Don't like show up and be like, oh, sorry, I don't have that 3 pounds of lettuce mix that you wanted. You know, be upfront with them about it, and they really appreciate that. If you're looking to get into restaurants, you know, don't go after the big fancy restaurants or the chains and things like that. Like try to find locally owned and operated restaurants, somewhere where the owner's involved, or it's a chef owner, something like that, where they're a little bit more flexible with the menu or ingredients or sourcing, and you know, go for those sort of accounts. Those are the places that you should really be starting with, not the big corporate places or hotels or things like that. And don't go into a meeting with a chef and promise things you can't promise. I mean, that's a huge thing. So if this place needs 20 pounds of lettuce a week and you can't do that, then you don't really have lettuce for them. So keep that in mind. Stuff like that is important. Another couple of logistical tips are that when you bring your stuff into the restaurant, make sure that you try to get it in the fridge. And sometimes people are busy or the right person's not around and it'll just sit out for a little while. Make sure you, after you deliver there once or twice, find out where to put things. And the chefs like it too, because they don't have to wind up putting it away. So if you can like just bring it in and put it in the fridge, that'll be better, because what's going to happen is that it'll stay cold and it'll last longer and it'll be a better product. And you know, if it starts to sit out for a while and you know the quality suffers, then that's your product, and they'll go, oh, your thing only lasted 2 days or 3 days when it should have lasted 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever. So make sure it goes in the fridge. Another logistical thing to talk about is payments and invoicing, and I think that can be very different if you're not already doing that. And I use Square for pretty much all my payments and invoices. I'm not affiliated with them or sponsored or anything. I'm just a paying customer, and they've been good. You know, any sort of electronic payment you take, there's going to be a charge for it. And luckily the restaurants write you a check, so there is no fee there. But I've been using it for my family boxes, and I do all my invoicing through there, and it keeps really good track of everything. And I'm also using that on my web store, so it's all in one place. It's been great for me. I've been really enjoying Square, and the app on the phone is great. And they also send you a card reader, so if you do need to take a payment for something, you can do that too. But what I do is I find out, you know, who wants to get the invoice, and because I harvest on Thursdays, after I do my harvesting Thursday afternoon or evening, I'll send those invoices to the person that needs to pay the bill, and so that when I show up on Friday with my delivery, they often have a check waiting for me, and that's a really great system. They appreciate it too, because they don't have to sit there and fumble around and get the invoice entered and get a check for you. But it's mostly COD, that's what I've seen so far, so you show up with the food and they give you a check. And so what I usually do is I bring my clipboard and I print out 2 invoices. One, I have them sign and I keep a copy of it, so I have a record of it, and then the other one they get to keep, and they give me a check. And so that's just, you know, how it works. Sometimes the right person's not around and I get the check next week, but you know, my accounts have been awesome. And you know, if you start delivering to restaurants and they just keep pushing back the payment and they don't pay you, you know, that should be a red flag. So make sure that everybody's staying on top of things so you don't wind up in a bad situation. So I don't have a ton of experience with restaurants and chefs. I'm just sort of getting started with it and trying to pick up some new customers soon. And so it's been awesome. I really enjoy working with chefs, and I can't stress enough, it's all about relationships. You know, get to know the chefs and, you know, just work with them, and they'll be great. And it's a really nice thing to add on if you're already doing, you know, one of the other sales outlets. Like let's say you're doing a farmer's market, or you're doing, you know, a CSA or whatever. You know, it's a great way to add on, and you can get some more product out there. And you know, if you are doing a farmer's market, you probably will meet some chefs there, and so you can connect with them and see if they want some stuff delivered right to the restaurant. So it's pretty awesome. Hope you found this helpful. There's a lot more involved in selling to chefs, but this would be a good way to start, and just sort of giving you a little bit of behind the scenes here, and I hope you enjoyed this. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Yeah, that's what I mean. All right, Derek, you on the screen. There we go. Hey, so Derek, thanks so much for working with me so much.
Yeah.
Want to start over?
Cut. No, we should have totally been recording the conversation earlier.
I know, that always happens. Whenever you turn the camera off, it's better conversation.
Just say no, the camera's not on next time, and roll, and then go from there.
It's cool. Got room for me?
Make some room.
Just toss this out here. All right, well, thanks for you guys. I've been off the camera so much today. I'm like, my brain turned off.